Hello, 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 unicorns or rebels, since today is the day that we're going to be a little rebellious, if we must. So, how was your weekend? How was your week since we chatted last? And we've done these gatherings of the card readings last week. Last week there was 3 card readings that I did. Today I'll do 3 cards, but you know, this deck is short and sweet and to the point. There is no booklet that comes with it. There's 1 card already. So whatever it is that need to hear, I know Kim is on here. This one came out as I noticed. Oh, Kim is on here. So let's see what it says. It says, they are. You think someone is lying. They are. So, interesting. Who do you think is, not that I need to know, but someone in your life that you think is lying? They probably are, since the card said so. So, it must be true. At the same time, do you do diligence and see if they're actually lying? And we can always trust our intuition. Our gut never lies to us. Our gut always tells us the truth. It's just our mind that has not yet caught up into its language of how it's trying to communicate with us. And this is because we're not taught to connect to ourselves and who we are and how we're meant to exist and express ourselves in this world and be intuitively guided. By who? By yourself. By your own intuition, by who you are. You're here to really learn who you are in all areas of your life. And the best way to do that is when there's people around you, people with you. And that's why with this first card, you know, you think someone is lying to you. They are. Because that could also mean that someone is trying to be nice to you and that they're doing their best to accommodate you. And therefore, they might be lying or fibbing a truth to spare you your feelings in a way. But if you don't want that, you gotta communicate that. If you want someone who's always open and honest with you, then you communicate that with those people, with that individual, and at the same time with yourself, with the universe. And it will provide, it will give you those people that are open and honest with everything and anything. And then when you experience that, then you can say, do you really want that? Or do you want someone who's somewhere in between, who's not fully open and honest? Because let's be honest here, ladies, mummies. We don't want someone who is 100% honest. We want someone who is going to be somewhere in between, who's gonna lie to us when we need lying to, when we feel like garbage, when we feel like we look like shit. We need someone in our life who is going to bring us up when we're down. And when we're too high up on our horse, someone who's going to bring us down a little bit. Say, okay, let's be honest here, okay? We all want that. We don't want someone who is completely blunt. And we don't want someone who is completely just kissing the ground that we walk on. We want somewhere in between. And there's lots of different shades of gray in there in between. So you pick the shade of gray that you want. And you focus on that shade of gray. And that's the shade of gray that is going to be in your life. Why? Because that's what we focus on. A great example would also be what we focus on grows. What we focus on multiplies. We also don't like the magic of the magic trick is that you are preconditioned to already have a certain response or reaction to the magic trick that you're about to experience, and you don't even know it. That's the secret of the magic tricks. And that, if we apply that into real life, that if we precondition ourselves to be surrounded by liars, or be surrounded by someone who's completely honest and too honest, or be surrounded by a certain type of a shade of gray of the honest versus truthfulness of an individual that you want in your life. And by focusing on that, you will manifest that. You will be the magic in your own magic trick. And you won't even know it, even though you'll know it because you've been striving towards it. So this card right here, I've seen this one before. This one says, make it rain. Money. Same concept. If that's what you want more in your life, then you focus on the abundance of it and not the lack of it. You thinking of it also in this way is when a perfect example is like a child's brain, and we ourselves are that same way. Another example, right? When I tell you, for example, don't look at this card. Don't look at this card. Don't look at the dollar signs that are on this card. Don't look at the beautiful unicorn that is on this card, right? Look at me. Don't look at all of the blue that's on here. Look at me. You can't help but look at this card. What you focus on, you see more, and you start seeing other things. You probably start seeing the stars that are around the unicorn, perhaps maybe even the exits around the unicorn, even though the whole entire time I've asked you to look at me, and here you are looking at this beautiful card, right? And I tell you again, don't look at the card, look at me. Don't look at what the card says. Don't look at what's on the card. Just look at me. You can't help but look at it. And now the only thing that's going through your head is everything that I pointed out on this card. And you might not even realize how many times I've asked you to look at me instead. And you probably didn't look at me until I said it. And then you look at me and right away back to the card. Same concept. If I tell you to look at me, what color are my eyes? What color is my hair? What color are my eyebrows? Are my eyebrows shaped nicely or not? Do I shape my eyebrows? Do I not? Then you're looking at me, and then you don't even notice the card, even if I point out, look at the card, right? Don't look at the card, don't look at me. What do I have on my face, right? If I turn that conversation around at me, you're starting to focus on me. Doing that same thing with yourself, where you catch yourself in a repetitive thought, in a repetitive action or behavior or a habit that you don't like. What do you tend to do in those moments? You tend to focus on them like they are this, pardon my language, but they are like this motherfucking card that just keeps looking at you, and you cannot look away because it is a nuisance. It is like having something stuck in your teeth that you can't get out because you're sitting at dinner table and you're too much of a good girl to ask, hey, does anyone have something to get this crap out of my teeth, right? Obviously, this is more of like some would say the vulgar way to ask for it, but if that's where you start, that's where you start, right? Asking, being comfortable in asking, being comfortable in the moment, even though you're uncomfortable, and then sitting with it. And if you don't like something, we gotta figure out why don't we like it. And it comes back to the dialogue, to that conversation, to this program that continues to run your life, that you feel like you are not in control and in charge of your life, because you're not. You have not been thus far. But now that you realize that you are not in the driver's seat, that you have been the passenger, guess what? You have now become the driver, because now you're aware that you're not the driver. And you say, hey, well, wait a minute. Hop over. And you don't even have to stop the car to, get in the driver's seat. You just realize that you're supposed to be in the driver's seat and you haven't been. So now you are. Where do you go from here? Great question. Answer that for yourself. Take a moment. Maybe not right now, but later. Where do you go from here? And answer these questions for yourself, because that's where you start. You start by actually answering the questions that you're asking of yourself and not ignoring yourself, not ignoring those wise ass questions that you ask of yourself that you don't want to. Last card. Shit could be so much worse, right? I mean, come on, Captain Obvious. Be fucking grateful. Now, so what I'll say with this card is that, it sounds great on paper. Shit could be worse. Yeah, it could be worse. We can talk ourselves out of feeling bad and feeling crappy. And we can talk ourselves into being grateful, into trying to be grateful. But there's a difference between being grateful and being gratitude. There's a huge difference between those two. When you are being grateful, you are wearing the outfit that you are not comfortable wearing, that you don't even know how to wear. You don't even know if you're doing it right, because there's a lot of things that are happening within you. And then when you are gratitude, you are gratitude. You are the definition of gratitude, and you are its existence. You are the gratitude itself. It comes from within. It is those moments when you might have seen your child eat ice cream for the first time, and they were just so happy, and like, or maybe like, oh my God, so cold and so sweet and so yummy, and you were just in that state of, oh my God, this is so incredible. I did that. Like, not only did I bake that in my oven, but I created this moment by getting the ice cream, by putting that into the child's hand and them eating it. And I get to now be the observer, but I was the creator of that. And you feel that gratitude, that you are gratitude in that moment, that you don't have to, there's not even a dialogue really happening when you are gratitude. You are just in a state of being gratitude. And then the subconscious self starts to come in and explain and help you to understand, as well as the conscious self that is present. And you're trying to now remember this moment. And at the same time, how do you remember this moment? You narrate it by, what does it mean? Who are you in this present moment? What is happening? Who is this child? What are they thinking? What are you thinking? Do you want to remember? Do you not? Like, there's so much dialogue happening. And that's why monks practice meditation as much as they can for all the awake hours of the day, that they're not doing anything else, because they're constantly seeking that moment that can be prolonged into a longer moment of the state of being gratitude. That's the state you manifest everything from. Everything that you want. You want to have more money. You need to be in a state of gratitude, and gratitude for all the money that you have, without convincing yourself, without talking yourself into it. But it starts with talking yourself into it, by practicing it, by trying on that suit or that outfit that you've never tried on, and you know that it's going to fit. You just need to adjust yourself in that outfit until you yourself feel comfortable, because you know that that's the one that's going to get you to where you want. And that outfit is the state of being, whatever the state of being you choose. State of joy, state of gratitude, state of acceptance, state of forgiveness. Like, you've experienced all of these states. You've experienced them. And this is where, as I wrap up, I want to invite each and every one of you to revisit the past and visit those states of being that you want to experience more in your life of. State of joy. When was the last time that you have experienced joy? Or more like, let's do it in a more potent way. When was the moment in your life, and you can sit with it as long as you need to, that you have experienced the most powerful, potent moment in the state of joy? I want you to experience it now, by bringing in, because we only exist in the present moment. The past we can utilize to help us to create the future, but too often we spend it in the dark part of the past and not so much so in the powerful parts, because you have had a lot of those moments. You have just forgotten because you've been told to focus on this card instead of yourself. Look out here and not you. Blame everyone else for everything that's happening in your life and not yourself. Not seeing what we could have done better. And we only get to see it after the time has passed. And that's okay. It's not a mistake. It's not an error. It's meant to be that way. You're meant to experience it, feel it, and then learn from it. And learn not to look at the card, but look at yourself. Look at your face in the mirror. When you're doing your eyelashes, when you're doing your makeup, I haven't done anything today. Look at your eyes instead. When you're brushing your teeth, say nice, positive things to yourself. And not, this is hurting, or that is hurting, or my hair is this, or my hair is that. The judgments that happen. Every single day, we're here to become the best versions of ourselves and to master ourselves. And the way we do that is by not looking at the distractions that are all around us. My whole entire room, a whole entire setup is a distraction. It's a distraction, and at the same time, I call it a soother, where it sets a certain type of a mood for me. Because I set up my space in the way that I love and enjoy. And those that resonate with it will feel that energy, that sense, that aura that I have created for myself here. And I want you to do the same for yourself. And how do you do that? You do that by reaching these states, these emotional states that allow you to create, not just allow you, that are the creators of your own life, of your own existence, of how you're living your life. You're just not being taught and educated on the subject, as neither have I. And I've been learning this throughout my life, little by little, and starting to connect the dots. And as we connect the dots, guess what happens? You know, that aha moment is actually a creation of a new neural pathway in your brain. You can create new neural pathways every single day by having those aha moments. And the days where you feel tired and sluggish, you know why? It's because you've had so many aha moments that you are exhausted and you need rest and you need time to heal. You need a moment, right? So giving yourself that grace as well. And you're welcome, Kelly. I'm glad this helps. So now, utilizing, if you watched, what is this cartoon called that the kids watch? It's about emotions. Inside Out. Perfect, right? This is how I remember Core Energy Coach, which is Inside Out process. So this cartoon called Inside Out. The moment, if you haven't watched it, watch it. But I'm just going to talk about one specific example from this movie, which for me now has become a core memory as well, that I go back to, that reminds me how we can use our memories, and how our memories, our core memories, can be created and can be edited as well. And it's the moment where Joy is trying to, I haven't watched that in a long time. She's trying to gather the memories because they're falling out, they're all over the place, because the little girl that is going through, I'll call it an awakening as well, because in a way, when we're going through puberty, when we're going through the teenage years, we are going through our own awakening, where we're awakening to who we are, because we've just received a program for the first 7 years. Now we're awakening to who we are, and how do I, Yana Kasperczak, or Yana Dargis, fit into this world, into this community, the small community, the big community. How do I fit in? Who am I, right? And this is where the awakening starts to happen, because we're literally awakening. And then for me, after 30 years old, this is where I was awakened, or in a way forced to awaken even more, start to go through more tragedies in a way, hard times that alter those memories, where as joy is trying to gather these memories and she's putting them back, sadness is trying to help. And guess what happens in that bright bubble of joy when sadness touches it? It is no longer a happy, joyful memory. It is now, as some would say, a tainted, sad memory. A joyful memory that is tainted with sadness. But we can also choose to not allow sadness to touch it, to untaint it by just focusing on the joyous part of it. We can do that. Our brain has done that for us. That's why those joyful memories will always have attached sadness and fear and worry and disgust and anger in it. But we can choose which emotion we can magnify. And by magnifying that emotion, we'll be focusing more on the magnifying that emotion instead of the card. Right? So, in other words, what I'm really saying is that the only world that really matters to us, and the only world that is actually real and true and truth, is the one on the inside. Is what we think and feel about everything and everyone, and most importantly ourselves. So, where do we start? We start there. And start by going into those joyful memories and focusing on the joyful part of that and feeling that in the now. Bringing that in. Having a mindful moment where you spend time with yourself by visualizing joy. And for some of you, if you are struggling to use your own memory, what you can do is from the movies and shows that you watched. There is a memory in there that you can utilize. That's, already perhaps replaying in your mind. So that's what you can do. Other than that, that is all for you guys for today and for me as well. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I am here between 11:30-ish and 12 on Mondays and on Thursdays. Mondays is the intuitive reading or card reading. Thursdays it is get your shit together with myself, Yana Kasperczak, and I call it weekly live guidance. So that's that one. And I'll see you all on our Heal the Unicorn podcast, which is live on Wednesdays at 1:30 Eastern Time. Just a couple of reminders. And if you are loving these readings, you can tag someone in this reading that you know could benefit from this information. And if they're not in the group, just add them to the group first so they can check it out. Other than that, I will see you guys all next time I am on here. I shall go and get my day going. Actually, I'm going to go finish cleaning the kitchen because I started it in the morning and then I went to the next project, and I'm going to finish my first project that I started, which was cleaning the kitchen. That's what I'm going to do. Let me know what your plan is for the day. What is the one thing that you want to get done for the day that you're going to feel a sense of accomplishment? For me, it's that kitchen. Not going to lie, I have not touched it over the weekend. And I said, I ain't touching that shit. You guys want to clean kitchen, you do it yourself. So for me, it's that kitchen. It was the video as well, but I finished the video almost. Let me know what that one thing is for you that you want to do. That is going to give you that sense of accomplishment for today. Or perhaps for the whole week. Other than that, like I said, I will see you guys all next time. Bye. Thanks for watching.